You went out surfing and then you reinvented the acoustic guitar. I made breakfast this morning. That's my accomplishment. That's what I did.
Hey guys, Kris here.
And my name is Guillaume. Welcome to Thomann's Guitars and Basses and welcome to this video. And today we are checking out the brand new 700 series by Taylor guitars. Beautiful, beautiful instruments. Quite different from what we usually, what we used to from Taylor guitars.
The traditional body wood choice for the 700 series was spruce and a rosewood. Like the traditional wood for Taylor guitars, especially in the higher range series. This time, it's full solid Koa. Everything.
Ukulele wood.
Ukulele wood. So this is interesting.
That's all I know about Koa.
for many reasons, because first of all, it's a traditional thing for Taylor to use, like in the 700 and 800 series, to use rosewood back and sides, spruce, etc. And they went away from that, which is definitely new and interesting. And the other interesting thing is that they do have a Koa series. We have one here, the K24, which has the same body size and shape as this one, which is the 724. And it's solid Koa as well, like a ebony board, kind of similar, yet they are very different.
Yes.
And that's the fun part, that's the nerdy part that I'm interested in, finding out what is new and interesting about this new 700 series and how it compares to something that we know from Taylor and which sounds great and has a certain character, the K series.
Definitely. Well, I think sound-wise, you guys are going to be able to make out the differences on your own. We'll be playing some things on that guitar as well, so you can have like a bit of a comparison point. But I think generally speaking, that should come through pretty clearly on the YouTubes. But feel-wise, I just want to make a point of saying that first, because I think that's once people hear Taylor and they hear sort of the price point of those guitars that are very, very high-end luxury instruments, it's on par with every single one of the best acoustic guitars that I've ever played. In terms of feel, and that's a thing that's hard to sort of translate on YouTube, let me assure you that this guitar is done to absolute perfection. Like whether it's the neck, the fret ends, the way it plays, the way it's set up out of the box, everything about this guitar screams just, perfection, really.
What's really cool about the finish, it's an obvious thing to say that a matte finish will feel very different compared to a glossy finish, like on the K series. But it should not be just underestimated, because it's not just a look thing, and it's not just when you like sort of touch it and rub your finger against it. It's the whole experience of playing the guitar.
100%.
It should not matter that much, but it really does to us players. And because of that, this series has a very, very thin, like even thinner than regular.
It's like
finish.
In some places you'd almost feel like it's open pore type of situation.
It kind of is to a certain degree.
It's
obviously
extremely thin.
On the sides, especially, you can see it against the light that you can actually see the wood pore. It's super thin, and that feels different. That sounds different, and it's just a very different experience. This guitar feels more like an old guitar. And I'm pretty sure you know what I mean by that, compared to like a high gloss finished, sort of a bit thicker finished instrument, which is 100%. Brand new as well. I like that fact. It's refreshing and interesting from Taylor to have that kind of option as well.
Samesies, what he said. Do you want to play a little bit and then we'll go into specs?
This is the small body version, the 722, which is a model I personally love most, so I kind of jumped on this one.
Have the big boy, the 724 CE.
Which is the most beloved and sought after Taylor body size, I guess, the 24. I like the small one because of its sweet mid-range. Listen, try to maybe close your eyes and listen to the tone and imagine what kind of wood selection would sound like this normally, because it doesn't really sound like the Koa guitars I'm familiar with.
I'm ready.
You ready?
Yeah.
Dynamics.
I was sitting on a beach somewhere.
Yeah, okay, that's cool. Wait, that's cool.
It was sunset.
It sounds very percussive, very woody, and very dynamic. And Koa normally has a very sweet, slightly compressed tone. Like, doesn't have that much reserve. If you hit the strings hard, it doesn't become really loud. It's more of a mild, mellow, sweet tone that I'm used to when playing Koa instruments. This really has the attack and the dynamic range of like a spruce top guitar, which
you might be like sort of mistaken in hearing like those lead parts and the very percussive, very like rich and high end sort of notes, and then you hit a G chord and like whoop.
Yeah, it has the low end all of a sudden. It's like wow, that sounds very rich and wide. Not very typical for
100%. And the dynamics you take out of that guitar is just like pretty impressive.
It's just have to play it. Let me hear the 24.
I'm scared.
First of all, it's a beautiful sound, and second of all, what was your impression comparing these two tones?
I don't know, because I had that one in drop C before. I feel like this one sounds more like a big guitar, as dumbed down as that can be. You know, there's a pretty significant difference in just like playing that kind of like regular sized body.
Yeah, well,
like,
closer to a dreadnought size.
Exactly. Closer to dreadnought than the 722. I think there's a little bit of low end and something that sounds maybe less focused than in that model. And it's definitely more of a, at least the way I would use them is that guitar in a band context would fare out probably much better than this one.
It has a place in the mix.
Exactly, more of a singer-songwriter type of thing. You want your guitar to have as many frequencies as possible, and it's just going to be that and your voice. And I think in terms of like low end mostly, that guitar is probably better fitting. And that would be my professional analysis of the Taylor Guitar 724 CE.
Thank you very much. I really appreciate.
You're welcome. That's my impression at least.
Yeah, that definitely sounded richer and bigger because it has a bigger body, obviously. But also that sounded to me more like a Koa guitar than this, which is weird. It's probably the all the frequencies and the waves going back and forth in the body.
And also you're used to having like to some extent like more dreadnought-sized instruments that are made like out of those exotic, like limited series.
You have more models
a lot of,
in general.
Exactly.
In that body size.
I don't know.
It's a bit more compact, but it's closer to that. Regular experience. What's cool about this new series, they changed. Like you might be wondering why these don't sound like all the other Koa series guitars Taylor makes. They changed the bracings on the backside of the body. So that, in combination with the thinner finish, helps the guitars, these guitars, to have a more poppy attack, like faster attack,
it's
and just
the
a more
Andy Powers touch of magic, isn't it?
But it's like so cool that they experiment with all these little tweaks on all their models, and they gave them some unique character.
I know, but like you're gonna have to understand the level of genius you have to be to reinvent acoustic guitar, because that's what Andy Powers is doing. Like at least even more so since we met at Taylor like 3 or 4 years ago, and
2019,
like hearing the guy just talk about the way he comes up with those ideas for the bracings. Like, I was surfing, I was on the beach, I was watching the ripple of this.
What?
Excuse me, what? And then you came up with a bracing that sounds like that? Sure. I made breakfast this morning. That's my accomplishment. That's what I did.
I managed to eat food.
You went out surfing, and then you reinvented the acoustic guitar. Fun. I definitely feel that influence in the projection of the guitar as well. And that back bracing that gives out just so much.
Talking of which, let's compare the K24CE with the new 724CE. Same size, very similar or pretty much identical wood selection,
yeah.
just different bracings, different finish, and probably some minor tweaks that, that
I will play
matter
the
or
exact
not.
same pick and the exact same riff in the most similar manner that I can play.
Crazy. This sounds warmer, mellower, sweeter, right?
Yeah.
I mean, it's how they should compare, and they really do. It's not just empty promises with all the changes they did to the 700 series.
Yeah. That being said, if you're familiar with those guitars in terms of feel, outside of the heavier lacquer, obviously, the neck mostly feels very, very similar.
Yeah.
It's it's the playability that you'd expect. What I'm curious to see is to just like stand a little bit further away from the guitar and hear the difference in between projections in between that model and this one, because like that's the thing that you cannot really, that whatever we do right now, it won't come through on YouTube. But the magic of the new like bracings and the thing that he started with the Grand Auditorium models and like all those models. The further away from the guitar you are, the louder it gets, and it's ridiculous. Like the way it's just, I don't know, it's magic. Andy Powers fairy dust.
All right, who would you recommend this 700 series for? Like, where would you use it?
Okay, I don't think I have a particular recommendation in terms of like the kind of guitar player that you are, because to me at least they sound enough like Koa and they sound enough unlike Koa to just kind of be used anywhere. Again, like in between the different shapes, I would say like if you're in a band and there's a bit more of a complicated mix, go for the 722, 724 for singer-songwriters I think would fit absolutely perfectly. I want to say like I don't have a particular if you play that kind of guitar playing or if you play this or more percussive or more this or that, I don't think there's a specific thing. If you want to get yourself a very, very nice guitar and you like the looks of Koa, because that's something we need to talk about as well. Like it's a very specific wood pattern as well. I personally, I really love it. Some people won't, but I think that's going to be one of the big differences. And then you're getting a really, really good guitar. So that's where I would land on that one. What about you?
I would use this. Like I always like the sweetness of Koa. It has this bit of a mahogany flavor, but not at all exactly like mahogany. It just goes in that direction compared to like a rosewood spruce kind of mix. Yeah. And this actually sits in between those things. So it's really like a best of both worlds. I would definitely use it for finger picking and solo playing, like single notes. It sounds beautiful for chords as well, if you're a strummer or more like a strummer. If you want like percussive stuff, this really does pop. Like it has a really fast attack, unlike regular Koa instruments, which are way more in the sweeter, softer, mellower direction.
Snappy.
So I would definitely call this an all-rounder.
So what I said, but longer.
Exactly, yeah. And with less jokes in it. Yeah, that's pretty much my resume.
Little appreciation note for the maple.
Yeah,
flame maple, tinted maple pickguard, which looks sick.
Yeah, I mean all the bindings and everything. There's rosewood in there and everything. It's like these are obviously on the quality level what you'd expect from Taylor, and the playability level, which is out of this world, as always.
As always.
Yeah. So
and as always, thank you.
This video has to come to an end.
Thank you guys for watching that video up to now. Well done. Sorry for the jokes, and hope you appreciated it. Hope you learned something about the new 700 series by Taylor. we'll be playing ourselves out, I guess. You guys can check out the description box down below for links to those guitars and everything else that's here in the vicinity. And don't forget to drop a like, subscribe, ring the little bell thingy so that you know when the videos come out.
When it's time.
Because we put out a lot of videos. Yeah. And yeah, take care of yourselves. We'll catch you in the next one. And in the comments section.
That too. Yeah, everything what he said. Bye-bye.